Welcome to Decades, hosted by Chris Rubio. Decades is a show made up of 5 generations of people brought together to discuss topics you wouldn't normally talk about with others. The goal of the show is to learn by having some good, possibly heated discussions, without losing the simple fact that it's okay to talk to different people with different opinions other than your own.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Decades, the Mission, episode 10. We're here for another great show. I am Ed Mick, aka Sub 60 Ed, hosting tonight because Mr. Rubio cannot be with us. And remember, when you need all things for long snapping, Rubio Long Snapping is your place to go.
Wow!
Hopefully the check's in the mail, Rubio.
Love it.
Ed,
are you gonna be all right? Are you gonna be all right without Rubio?
I need you to do an ad for my show, Ed, next, please.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We got Guy from Tripping Through Transformation. We got the crazy man, Alan Cole, my one and only friend from the neighborhood and the OEW ambassador. We got Jim the Nature Boy coming from OC New Jersey in our 50s. And we got Alex on tech representing the great free state of California.
Not free.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody watching us. Remember to subscribe. Okay, gentlemen. First, we're gonna have some fun with this. We're 2 weeks in. Olympics end in 3 days with the closing ceremonies. What are your take on the Olympics? Good, bad, indifferent? Alex, what say you?
I think Olympics is a great event overall. A few bad things about Olympic: the sea and river is dirty, and it made some athletes sick with E. coli. And a lot of athletes complain about bad living conditions at the village, including no air conditioner and some cardboard beds. One of them actually had to sleep in the park, on top of wet towel because he couldn't sleep inside. And I heard it was due to some climate change fanatics trying to make living conditions hell for some athletes. And I know US team brought their own AC.
Yes. Right, because they were actually talking about this in the States, about how Europeans don't use air conditioning as much as we do here in the States, and that was going to be a problem. And if you watch Instagram, TikTok, any of those, all the athletes were doing different kind of skits with the beds. They had the cardboard cross beams, kind of funny. Yeah, Jim.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions for Alex. So, Alex, you're going to tell me LeBron James and Steph Curry are sleeping on cardboard? I don't think so.
No, I've heard some athlete. I think he was from Italy or from France. He was like a swimmer where he.
Oh yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah.
I heard that too. I mean, you got everything from
believe
that to LeBron James.
Yeah, believe me, U.S. basketball team probably had the best beds available in Paris. Okay?
I want to ask you one more thing, Alex. What about? Do you have any thoughts on Russia not being there? What's your take on it?
Well, I'm actually from Ukraine, and Ukrainian team actually is there, so I'm okay with Russia being punished.
I would figure you would have said that. I totally agree with you. I'm enjoying it, really.
So, Jim, what are your thoughts on now that you've asked Alex, our IOC commissioner for the night?
It's funny because you're like positive, negative, or indifferent. I think were the 3 words you used for us to comment on it.
Yeah.
I always get excited because it really only happens every 4 years or 2 years or whatever. Especially the Summer Olympics. I enjoy a lot of the events. The ones I've watched the most were probably volleyball. I thought that there were some really good volleyball matches. And then the other part of me was like, this is a circus, literally a circus, because you got everything from breaking. They don't call it break dancing. They're calling it breaking.
Exactly.
I'm like, really? That's an Olympic event? Are you kidding me?
Really?
The synchronized swimming, that kind of wigged me out because it looked like there was 8 aliens swimming around together. That kind of freaked me out a bit. And I still can't figure out why, if they have basketball, why now do you need 3-on-3 basketball? So I think that
that poses another question. if you have a 3-on-3 team that's separate from the actual team, do you put Caitlin Clark and the other girl? Do you put them on the 3-on-3 team? We can just talk about
I don't
that,
think
but
they would want to play on that, but
gold medal's a gold medal.
And the more I think about it, I didn't really think about it until I just brought up all those examples. But how many networks, streaming or regular networks, are they broadcasting shit from? So they're probably just trying to make more money. I mean, if you could have breakdancing in the morning and the decathlon in the afternoon, but that's a pretty far span for me. Like, I don't get that, how they're doing
that. If you
that.
really think about it, I mean, what they're catering, you're exactly right. They're catering to the viewing public. Who's going to view? I mean, the Gen Xers and the millennials and all of them, or the millennials and the younger crowd. I guess breakdancing's making a comeback. I didn't even think breakdancing was a thing.
Now you can't say dancing; it's breaking. They won't say breakdancing.
It's like the Reds. Hey Jim. It's like the Washington Redskins. They will always be the Redskins to me. It's breakdancing.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's breakdancing. That's my whole point. No, but it's that, and no disrespect to it. The skateboarding. I mean, skateboarding is in there too, and some other things. I'll come to you in a second, Crazy Man. Let me ask our only Canadian on the panel. What do you think?
Well, I don't know, man. I don't really follow the Olympics all that much, if I'm honest with you.
That's good.
I know about the controversies surrounding, the opening ceremony and the women's boxing and things like that. But for the most part, I try to stay away from it. As a kid, I was always looking forward to the Olympics. I thought it was the best athletes around the world coming together to showcase their talents and the work that have been put in for 4 years. And just celebrating the athletes. It was focused on the sports, and now I feel it's more about advertising and pushing political views and things like that. Like I think we've kind of strayed a little bit from the main purpose and intent of the Olympics. So for me, I don't know. I just kind of let it happen, and I mind my own business.
I'm with you, Gay. I'm not watching any more from here on out. That's it. I'm done.
Well, I know somebody who's on this show regularly, and I won't mention his name, but after the opening ceremony with the Last Supper picture, he was so turned off he shut it down and was like, no, I'm not doing that. I respect that, but Crazy Man, what are you thinking about the Olympics? You're one of these kind of guys who does all these kind of sports and crazy stuff.
I think Olympics has lost something over the last 20 years, truthfully. Allowing professional athletes in there has taken away from these college students, kids that have harnessed their craft so well that they haven't hit that level yet. So you have these LeBron James, you have the female basketball players. So you have all them taking away gold medals from people that could actually earn it, that haven't hit in that part. And yes, we are leading by, last time I saw was 95 medal count to 80. Of course, we should be winning if we're using professional athletes. But how they streaming, it's like the popular stuff that you're going to see on TV during daytime. So like I was watching surfing from another channel or going directly to Peacock because you get to watch surfing or wrestling, all these other stuff that doesn't make the mainstream, or quote unquote the controversy, like the GOAT as she is tumbling and so forth on the gymnastics. Gymnastics is always going to be up on top, just like figure skating during the winter. So if it's not a popular sport, it's going to get kicked to the side and be on at, 3 a.m. if you want to get up and watch it at 3 a.m. because there's a 8 to 9 hour time difference between us and France.
Funny enough that you say that, Alan. Some wrestling finals take place tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. I've got my alarm set to watch it because it's two Americans. One is Spencer.
They don't wear headgear, huh?
No, not in the Olympic style.
That's kind of strange.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
you don't want to have those cauliflower ears because I wrestled for 7 years.
Yeah, but if you look at them, they all have cauliflower ears already because that's how most of them don't. Yes, Alex.
Well, actually, as far as not using professional athletes in Olympics before, it's not quite true. Like during Soviet time, okay, when I was growing up in late 70s and 80s and stuff, Soviet Olympians, they were not called professionals, but they actually were. Okay,
Right.
officially they would be like workers, doctors, but everybody knew that they actually were Olympian. I mean, doing it professionally, they were not called that, but actually they actually had the same traits as James and as everybody else, in the state, for example. So it was a big lie, and they actually win a lot of medals instead of college kids that would come from the States, Canada, etc.
Well, I do know a couple years ago, I think either 5 or 10 years ago, they were talking about when you're adding like break dancing or break to the Olympics, and they were seeing what they were going to take away. And up on the cutting block at one time was wrestling, and they got so much backlash.
Yeah, you can't.
Because wrestling has been one of the sports that's been there originally forever.
Yeah, exactly. And what's interesting about that is that the two American women, the women wrestling team is on the verge of winning the most medals it's ever has. They've already doubled it. They're about to. They could go as many as 3 or 4, I think. But I'm like you, Alan. I'm kind of a traditionalist. I like watching those that aren't on all the time. I like watching the gymnastics and the other stuff. But I was like, I love the wrestling. I love the weightlifting, which they never show, because I think that is, if anybody's ever tried to clean and jerk anything or just clean anything, just pull it from the ground to your chest. That takes some skill.
Listen, I barely clean the kitchen, let alone clean 225 pounds.
It's
ain't happening.
Exactly. Yeah, when Jim says, when his wife says, Jim hears, "Go clean, you jerk," not clean and jerk.
Yeah, that's what I get.
No, but the thing one of the sports I kind of got into this year following was the women's 7, the rugby team. The women.
Okay.
The women rugby, the USA rugby team won.
Where did you find broadcast of that? Because I didn't.
It was like I caught
buried somewhere.
I caught it. I caught it taped, but I started seeing a lot of stuff online, and a lot like their 1-star player, she had like 6-figure following prior to the Olympics, and then she's like over 1 million plus following her. She's very charismatic.
Yeah, it's you know what I mean. It's just going to be like Alan. Like I tell people about public education, it's just a microcosm of society. So the Olympics are just going to show all the problems in society, whether it's a river that they spent how many $billion to clean up and still wasn't clean. So that's the kind of stories I don't even want to see. Like, it's terrible. And the cheating. Like, I'm not even sure what exactly happened with that boxer, he or she or whoever it was, but that makes me sad, and I stay away from it. That's where I'm like, I'm like, I don't even want to see it, really.
Well, here's the thing. Now in the wrestling community, there was a woman, and I can't remember where she's from. She missed weight by 1/100th of a gram. They took away her medal, and the debate is, and she's petitioning to get her medal back, and there are people out there saying she should get her medal. As a former wrestler and a purist, there are 2 components to wrestling: making weight, wrestling your match. If you don't do A, you can't do B.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
Correct.
It's a tough lesson learned. And if I was in her shoes, I'd probably be doing the same thing.
But aren't they weighing in before the match starts? So that, just like you just said, we would actually weigh in before the match, then we'll golf down some sandwiches.
The IOC is corrupt. It's all corrupt. There's definitely cheating. There's cheating and all kinds of shit going on. And if they didn't want that person to have a medal, they took it away. Might have been somebody else. They might have said,
conspiracy.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theory.
Come on, Guy, back me up.
All right, man. All right. Well, that was a good topic on that. Let's take a few minutes and listen to an Alex on Tech tech tip. If you need tech, reach out to my man Alex. He knows it all.
Today's tip is about a new way to protect your computer screen from prying eyes, patented by Microsoft. The tool could be used in public spaces to blur or scramble the parts of your screen that you are not actively looking at. The patent broadly outlines a technique in which a webcam or other sensor tracks the user's gaze. Except for the area the user is looking at, the whole display is scrambled or blurred, making it invisible to anyone walking by. As the user gaze shifts, the clear area shifts too, maintaining privacy around any portion of the screen not actively utilized. Most people are not hackers, and most of your fellow coffee shop visitors, bus passenger, or conference attendees have little to no interest in looking at what's on your screen, let alone copying it down somewhere. But that isn't easy to say. Visual hacking can or doesn't happen. If you're particularly worried or simply embarrassed about what's on your screen, a tool like Microsoft's could benefit you, if it ever makes it into a real world. This tip for a great show called Decades is brought to you by Alex on Tech.
Thank you, Alex, for that great tech tip.
Thank you.
Especially love that. I especially love that little tip you always put at that little plug you put at the end. That's very. We are very thankful and grateful for that. All right, gentlemen. So we had kind of fun on that one. So we here at Decades and the whole mission and what we've all come together for over the past year plus is about kind of keeping a good safe space, keeping a good mental health space. So I'd like to kind of take, the next few minutes. Let's chat about coping mechanisms. Now, there are good coping mechanisms and there are bad coping mechanisms. And when I'm referring to coping mechanisms, like what kind of mechanisms, what do you use to cope with your anger, fear, disappointment? Is it all one and the same? What do you use? What do you use? I mean, are you like smoking marijuana? Are you, hitting the cannabis? I mean,
Wow, Ed.
I mean, or are you doing breathing exercises? What are you doing? Hey, Gee, since you got the flashing lights, I'm gonna go with you, my man.
Yeah, right. Because you mentioned the marijuana, now I feel targeted. I know I'm in Canada and all, but
stereotyping.
That's all right. I was just in Ocean City, Maryland. There's a lot of 420 shots. Go ahead.
I've got three main methods that I use to cope, really. The first one would be quotes. I'm a sucker for quotes. I think I could write a whole book on quotes and how they affect me. But, words left behind by other leaders, other people who have been successful, other people who have overcome challenges, those are things that push me on. So that's a big part of me. They're kind of like a mantra in a sense. Another one is music for me. You talked about, anger, anxiety, whatever. How do you control that? I mean, if you're going to the gym to work out, you probably want to put on, some AC/DC or something like that, something to get you pumping. So for me, if I'm angry, I'll probably want to put on something a little bit more relaxed, soothing to calm me down. And then my last resort is binaural frequencies, literally just beats, like humming, vibrations in my head. Different frequencies do different things. So if I need to focus, I'll listen to focus frequencies. If I'm trying to study, I'll have some studying frequencies and so on and so forth. So those are
on those frequencies. I've heard about them. I've never tried them. Do they work?
100% they work. You have to use headphones though to get the maximum effects. But yeah, I think so. It's probably not for everybody. Some people might find it annoying. I think it's very calming and it kind of lets me get into the zone. You know what I mean? Like I just.
Hey, don't smoke a joint before you do it, Ed.
Don't give him bad advice.
Well, Ed was trying to admit something, I think. I don't know. No.
But that's the kind of stuff that stunts your growth, man.
Yes, I was actually thinking that same thing. It would stunt your growth.
I know, exactly. So, Alan, all right. So now that you chimed in, what are your you do a lot of high stress stuff.
Can I ask you one more thing before we move on from him?
Absolutely, Jim.
So, Guy, the tones Will they work for all different emotional, issues that you're dealing with, like anger and fear and disappointment, or are there different ones for different things? Like,
Well, I mean, once we're off air, Jim, I can share what certain
okay,
frequencies do.
I'm very
'Cause, yeah,
interested.
different
Very interested.
frequencies will like affect you differently. So, like I said,
Okay.
if you're looking for sleep, you'll use a certain
Yeah.
frequency. If
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
looking
yeah.
for focus, it's a different
Okay.
frequency. But yeah, I can share that with
All
you.
right, we got to talk. All right, sorry, Alan.
No, it's not a problem.
We might have to do a whole show on just frequencies.
Yes.
I mean,
You need it.
To work with my anxiety, actually, with going to work and working in the public school system, it can be very stressful, such as working in the special ed department. And I would actually listen to the thunder and lightning and rain going into work just to get myself calm, relaxed. To me, that's relaxing. So with G, I definitely say different types of music. And you know me, Ed, that I will actually throw on a sack and go out for a little walk. And my little walks could end up 5-6 hours sometimes.
Wow.
Now, everybody, when he says a sack, he means a backpack.
It's a rucksack.
It's a
And
rucksack.
The rucksack will weigh
Just
somewhere
these
between
guys.
25 and 35 pounds.
Yeah.
And I will go out to decompress from the school day or a day that's been very rough and stressed. But it also calms me down, but also I can think on what went wrong at that moment. Why didn't the kids pick it up? What was going on? What can I try? So it's another way for me to meditate and to clear my thoughts, to get to regroup. And when Ed says
self-reflection, a lot of self-reflection there.
I mean, I've been in special education for 17 years. So I've actually beaten the odds of normal range for a sped teacher is 5 to 7 years.
Did you say you're odd?
And
you beat.
I'm normal. Everyone else is odd.
Yeah.
That's why they call me the crazy man.
Exactly.
We're not
Jim,
odd.
no. Who wants to walk 67 miles for charity in 28 hours? No, not
Love
too
it.
many people.
Love it. Is he, Alan? Are you an F3 guy? Did I ask you that last week? I apologize.
No,
No,
I belong
he's
to
not.
a local ruck club, as well as I am part of Operation Enduring Warrior. So it's a nonprofit that I work with. So that in itself I try to keep my health and staying fit. I've been doing obstacle course racing, go rucks for the last 10 years. So since I've been 46, now I'm 56. Just came off with a partial knee replacement, and just not, as G was saying, that you listen to motivation quotes, you use those quotes, but also you use what makes you, and you inspire other people in the same way. And it's interesting when people say, hey, thank you. I know what you're going through. You helped me do X, Y, Z, such as go to the gym or start losing weight or running a marathon or running a 5K. So from kids in my class, you would think, hey, we're old now. We don't have to do that. But now we, in our older age, are inspiring other people to do something that they never thought they could.
It's awesome.
Amen.
Alex, how about you, my friend? What are you saying?
Well, to control anger, I usually just use breathe in and breathe out exercise, especially when I'm at work and I cannot do other things such as, whiskey and cigars, okay?
or smacking your coworker.
Well, yeah, it's a fireable offense, so I'm not trying to get fired, so.
Unless it's smack your coworker day. You never know which day that shows up.
Well, and also, when I'm at home or when I'm in my car, I listen to some music to calm me down and stuff. And for example, to control my fear and or disappointment, I simply use self-talk, and basically say, it's all good. It's going to be better. That's all. That's how I do it.
That's excellent. Yeah, I'm a big believer in self-talk as well. you know, I got 23 voices in my head, and I gotta keep them all in mind.
Only
It's only
24?
it's only supposed to be two, one on this
No,
side and one on the other.
it's like I said. No, it's like I've got 22. Oh, they're all yelling and screaming, and one's just sitting in the corner humming.
Are they all different voices? Like, can you make
Yes.
them all out? Yeah.
Hello, Nana Mona. Thank you for joining us.
I hope she's not the only person watching.
No,
I love
well,
you, Nana,
no,
but I hope there's
she's
more
only
people out there.
there's 7 watching tonight, but that's all
All
right.
right.
Pretty
All
important.
right, we're gonna work on that. We're gonna work on that.
All right,
Is
Jimmy,
it?
what do you got, Jimmy?
I
Nature
got,
Boy, what do you
well,
got?
Alex kind of stole a lot of my
That's all right.
thunder, but you know what I mean?
What do
Like,
you do?
good ideas are good ideas. And when you
All right.
started, you introduced it with like, there's good coping mechanisms and bad, and I agree to that to a point. Yeah, like abusing alcohol would not probably be a good way of coping, but I think it's a matter of what works for you. And like anger, I've gotten a lot better. Breathing, definitely breathing, and I have to. Alan knows in his line of work, I'm in the same line of work, and you know we teach different breathing techniques to kids to calm them down, and then self-talk. And one of the things I ask myself is like, is this really worth being angry over? Why am I mad? Like, you know, now, if I'm mad at myself, maybe for making a mistake, okay, I could see that. But even still, I'm not going to hold on to that anger. As far as fear, Alan probably has seen this before. There's like a circular chart, and there's things at the very core that are in your immediate control. And then as you go out, there's less and less and less. So, you know, I ask myself, am I afraid of something that's out of my control? And if the answer is yes, then I self-talk my way into like, that's silly for you to be scared. You know, think positive, have a positive mindset, and obviously be proactive. Don't just sit back. If you can angst or decrease that angst, one of the things for me is nature. And I still kind of find it weird, Ed, that you call me Nature Boy, because all I think of is Ric Flair. I'm like,
Well, you
I'm
know
not
what's
Ric
funny,
Flair,
but
you know.
I call you the I'm calling you the Nature Boy because you like nature, you
I'm
like
built.
fishing. I like, yeah, it fits you, man. It
know.
fits. It fits
I
you
know,
so well.
I know. And you know, hiking in the woods with one of my best buddies, looking for eagle's nest and seeing what stage, you know, the eggs are in or whatever. Yeah, I mean, it just takes stress right out of my body. I can feel it. And that disappointment for me, it's, you know, you got to get over that. And if you dwell on it and wallow in your sorrow and all that kind of stuff, like you got to focus on the positive and think about, with every disappointment or failure, there's going to be victories and good events. And, you know, so I try to also surround myself with people that are positive. That can be hard to do, not with you guys. And I love our organization in that way. No, seriously, Alan. I mean, when I first came on board, I was like, I never met so many freaking positive people like you. You just go watch the Chef and MD, and you're going to be like, man, I'm a jerk. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I mean,
so.
Totally, Jim. But one thing is, you can't get upset about things that are out of your control. So when you're disappointed about maybe not getting that promotion, or maybe not being able to get something for somebody, if it's not in your control, you can't get upset about it. And I think that works in all different ways. For me, this past school year, from January to the end of school year, was the most difficult for me to deal with anxiety. Looking at me, knowing me, you wouldn't think somebody like me would have anxiety. Oh, this year was the worst. And Ed and I talked about this off and on, that I put a lot more pressure on myself when my administration said, you're doing fine, you're doing great, you're going in the right direction. But the pressure that we put on ourselves is another thing. And when I talk to my kids, as you know, is that when you talk to them and you say, hey, what does fail mean? And they're going, oh, you're a loser, you're worthless. And I said, no, fail means first attempt, I learn. And because you can't learn anything without failing.
Mm-hmm.
And when they hear
Einstein.
when I do these obstacle course races and I fail on an obstacle, and they're like, "Why do you do it?" Because you learn how to adapt and overcome a lot of things. So fear works in both ways if you look at
As a
it from
motivator,
one
yeah.
perspective or another.
Right.
So
So one other thing I want.
hey, Jim,
go
man,
ahead,
you
Gabe.
gotta learn to
I'm
let other
sorry,
people
Gabe.
talk.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
I'm
Keith.
joking,
No,
man.
no, go
I
ahead.
got duct tape in. I got duct tape in here.
I just wanted to add to what Alan was saying there, because I talk about quotes, and I do have a quote that resonates really well with what he just said. If I can share it, it's from
Absolutely, go ahead.
It's from
By the
Eckhart
way,
Tolle.
Gabe, that's what I was going to do. I was going to introduce you because I knew you had a
Great
quote.
quote.
I knew you had a quote.
Thank you.
Everybody
Hold
here's
on, hold on. Who's the quote from?
Eckhart Tolle. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but he's
Well,
kind of like
actually,
a
let's
spiritual
hold-
guru.
All right, like okay, so for everybody, the 7 people watching and the 4 of us here who aren't, who is he?
Eckhart Tolle.
Okay, who is? I mean,
I might be mispronouncing it, but
but I don't know. Okay,
We
go ahead.
wouldn't know. We wouldn't
Yeah,
know. if you were
exactly.
missing
Author of Power of Now. I got his book right there, the green one.
Okay.
So the quote is this, okay? It's there are no problems, only situations to be dealt with now or to be left alone and accepted as part of the isness of the present moment until they can change or be dealt with. So basically, like life will present things your way, and it's your mindset that says this is positive or this is negative. But the reality is it just is. So by seeing it as a negative, you're just making things worse for yourself. What you got to do is look at it from, okay, this is what I'm faced with now. How do I move forward? Or if you can't move forward, then just leave it alone. There's nothing you can do. Like, why stress about it? So it kind of goes to what you were saying about you can't get upset at the things that are outside of your control.
Okay. All right. Now,
So-
no, I haven't, Jim.
Squeak.
Uh-oh.
Hold on.
I got it. I'm going to do it.
No, I agree with all you guys, and I use a little bit from whatever of you say, from music to breathing to just kind of sitting quiet or what have you. But my question, there's a common theme that has come out of this, is that not worrying about that which we cannot control, this, but why do we? And I'm not saying we collectively, the 5 of us, I'm saying we, society. Society has a problem. We worry about things that are literally outside of our control. We don't look.
I think it boils
what is
down
that
to the
about?
generation. The generation worries about different aspects. If you look at Gen X, one of the biggest quotes from us is "It is what it is," and we're going to move on. Now, I forget who wrote this quote, but one of the quotes that I've used in one of my posts is, "Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time." And
Right.
Yep.
now, I may have taken paraphrases from a quote before that because I listen to, like I said, I do a lot of motivating quotes and listen to different aspects. So you just don't have a duty for yourself, but like you have your people that you have around you. You keep the good people around that keeps you honest, keeps you self. So you get rid of the ones that are going to be the negative force. And unfortunately, I had a good friend that I've been friends with since probably 84. We just grew apart probably about 3 or 4 years ago because he's more of a negative A&E.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, worry about me. What did I do wrong? He's in this part of his life now that he's unhappy with himself because of the choices he's made.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Alan, and that's something I was going to touch on. Is like my therapist talks about self-parenting and self-love, and if you don't love yourself, you're going to have trouble convincing yourself that you are in control of your mind, and that's basically the common theme that everybody's bringing up with your coping mechanisms. I mean, self-talk is convincing yourself that you can control what you think and feel. And Alan can attest to this. That's really hard for youth, certainly.
Right.
And, you can't lump us all together, Ed, and say society has trouble with. What'd you say? We all have trouble with
No,
worrying, or we
we
worry too
when I
much.
no, we
Yeah,
no,
that's because
we have a
people.
tendency. We have, yes, Josh, extraordinary. Thank you.
What just
You
happened?
or us?
No,
Josh.
my
Oh,
friend, he's an old friend of mine.
extraordinaire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
extraordinary. Yes. No, my whole point. No, my point to that, Jimmy. We have a tendency as a society, and yes, I think it'll ebb and flow. That people have it. They worry. I still do it. We all do it. Things outside of our control. We worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow is outside of our control. I mean, let's look basic. If we put it down to a basic principle, is the next moment is not guaranteed. As
No.
cryptic as that sounds,
Right. Right.
but we all have a tendency to worry about, you know, like I have people who say, "Well, what are we doing in 2 weeks? What are we doing in 6 months? What are we doing now?" Okay, we can pencil something in, but
Yeah.
God willing, I'm still here in 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
I think we need, as a society, personally, I think we need to start focusing on
Today.
Living.
staying in the. Who's about to say it? You're about to steal my thunder. Was it you, Alex? Living in the present.
Yeah.
You have to live in the
Yeah.
present. You're
Right,
living for the nows.
but we don't, and that is the, and yeah, and that is
But listen, the majority of people, I mean,
yes, it is hard.
they're looking at screens constantly. They're seeing just being fed shit, and they can't acknowledge that that's not good for them.
They're seeing the final product. So, like I always told my middle schoolers when I did teach, I said, look, you want the fame, you want the gold, you want the glory, but you don't want to earn it. You're seeing these athletes making millions of dollars, but they don't see how much work they put in
Right.
to get their craft done.
They didn't quit.
Yeah.
They didn't quit. A lot of Americans want to quit. They want it the easy way out. They want the handout. It doesn't work that way. I can't wait to see Randy on Gi. I can't on Tripping Through Transformation. I can't wait to see the resilience. It had to be great. It had to be great. What clip did I see, Gi, where he was talking about
that wasn't
what
even
happened
from
to
the
him?
show. That was before
He got
we even
stabbed
started
or something.
recording. Yeah, he said that was the life-defining moment for him that kind of like crystallized who he wanted to become, was when he got stabbed. Yeah.
Most people aren't resilient, Ed. Most people aren't resilient, and I'm
No.
not saying I'm more resilient than anybody else, but
the fact that you make that comment, Jim, isn't that a statement on society that we aren't more resilient? As we're in. I'll go negative there.
Hold on.
We are 5 men in what is supposedly the best country in the world. People are flooding the borders to get into it, but we're not resilient. To me, that doesn't make sense. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Unfortunately,
it doesn't make sense.
No.
Hey, Alex, what do you think? You're unreasonably quiet.
Well, I think people in USA and other like so-called developed countries like Germany, etc. They worry about stuff that people shouldn't even worry about. Okay, for example, in some countries, people still worry about where they're gonna get their food. Okay, and most people in the States don't worry about it unless they have some issues with, drugs and stuff, that they basically spend all the money on drugs and alcohol, and they basically sort of got themselves into that predicament. Okay, I think people should worry more about, like not like everyday stuff, but like, for example, plan for the future and worry about that, retirement and whatnot, but not worry about small things.
I mean, we definitely have to be the author of our story, and we're allowing society, allowing these all-stars, these superstars, dictate on how we should be. And as I tell my students, I said, do you want to be the author of your story, or let someone else choose it for you while you're in school? You have to be somewhere in the line. You have to start living for yourself and pleasing yourself versus trying to please other people. because
Yes.
they're not going to remember what you've done unless you're the true author of your story.
That is very well said, and that's
Amen.
true. And the key is, and we all we grew up in the latchkey era where our parents were some parents were out working, some parents were around, depending on your situation. But our parents had influence over us. They kind of, and I think nowadays it's not like that. And I think with the invention of the internet and things of that nature, it put, it made the iPad, it made the cell phone, it made that, the babysitter. I saw a post today. Somebody said, takes my kid 35 minutes to get dressed. My toddler, 35 minutes to get dressed. That same toddler can open 5 apps and call my boss in 10 seconds.
Well, that's just like Alan said.
It's-
You're the author of your own story, so
But
you
see, I
parent
think
how
it goes even
you don't
further
have
than
to
that.
give in to every societal. And I agree that there's a breakdown in the family unit. That's definitely part of it, but it goes beyond that.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
even when I grew up, we didn't have to worry about cell phones. Yes, our parents knew roughly where we were, but in the community, they would know what you did by the time you got home because they had all those eyes out. But the only reasons why a lot of us didn't get hurt worse than we probably should have or die is because we had a loyalty of friends that kept us honest and kept us as a unit. Not a lot of kids can say that they have friends. Like, for example, I have 35 years from high school. I still have friends from when I was in grade school on Facebook. I still talk to a lot of my friends that I grew up with, where we had the loyalty with one another.
That's because
Nowadays,
you lived in reality. You lived in reality. Every single time you got together after school and played or whatever it was like a learning experience, and you figured shit out, and you figured out how to make the teams, and you figured this. And nowadays, the kids don't have to do anything; they just sit there on it, and even playing is all virtual bullshit.
Yeah,
that is
get off the screens.
That is the Alan. That the loyalty word struck a chord, and that I think that is. I don't think there's loyalty anymore amongst the friends. I am like you. I mean, hell, Jim and I go back 30. I mean, hell, you and I go back 25 years. 25 years
I don't know, Ed.
But you and I.
You just said you were in Ocean City last week.
No.
No.
I was in Maryland. I wasn't in Jersey.
I thought
I would have been staying at your house if I was in Jersey.
I could refurbish this shed. This could easily be it.
My point is that the loyalty is. I had not thought of that in the sense that loyalty is really big, and I don't think that the younger generation. I'm going to say the 20s and 30 somethings don't have the same type of loyalty that we carry through. I mean, I've got guys on here I've got a text group I'm with, high school buddies from a wrestling team that I still talk constantly with.
Yeah.
And that's because
you got to give the young guys a chance, though. They don't have that many years put in. You know what I mean? So,
well,
but I get what you're saying.
When I worked in the high school, and the kids got called to the office, those kids would roll in each other because college is around the corner, and they didn't want that to hit their whole mark. It's pretty bad. When I was in high school, the principal would walk up to me, and Mr. Appleby would go, "So, Alan, who let the pigs loose in school?" "What pigs?" "I don't know what you're talking about." "Oh, we left pigs loose in school. We numbered them 1, 2, and 4.
What happened?
So they kind of spent a few.
They were little pigs, huh?
Oh no, they were. It's nice having FFA in your school building.
Oh my God, that's
and
hilarious.
living out in the farms. Oh yeah,
it sounds like a scene from Animal House.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, the things that I talked to my high schoolers were like, look, the difference between me hating a teacher and you hating a teacher, I still respected them at the end of the day.
Right. Not only that, but at the end of the day, if your parents found out you got in trouble in any way, shape, or form at school, you know, you were going to hear from them. Now you got the parents coming at us like we're
Yes.
doing something
Yeah.
wrong for teaching their kids to obey rules and procedures. What? It's crazy.
Yes.
Bad parenting. A lot of bad parenting.
Yeah.
So Ed, who do you look like?
Who do I look like?
Are we
Are we changing? Actually, I was getting ready to close it out, but if you want to jump to that topic,
Yeah, no,
Jim,
I
I'll
got
give
notes. I got notes down here for that.
Okay, hold on. All right, so let me take a break, and we'll come back, and we'll wrap up
What is
with
that,
this
little
last
kitty?
segment of
Yep.
who's your doppelganger. So
Love it.
that means Jim Scrano. That means who do you look like?
Thanks, Ed.
You're welcome.
This tech tip is on how to use Public Data Check Review. Public Data Check is a data broker that posts personal information online. To find out what information Public Data Check has about you, number 1, go to publicdatacheck.com and search for your listing. Number 2, check on your name and fill out the information. Number 3, they will use your email information to sell ads to their database and send you email. To avoid this, I recommend using a disposable email address like a mask email from Blur. To opt out of Public Data Check. Number 4, once they have sent you your report, send them an email with the information that they had, such as your name, address, and age, and request that the information be removed from their website. Do not send information that they do not have already, and if the information they have is incorrect, use it anyway. Number 5, after this, it is unclear how long it will take them to remove your information from their site. Be patient and persistent. This tip for a great show called Decade is brought to you by Alex on Tech.
Thank you again, Alex, for that wonderful tech tip and plugging the show as always appreciated. As I said earlier, thanks to everybody who's watching on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, also on Instagram Live. Please remember to like, follow, subscribe, do all those, hit all the buttons, and do whatever you guys all do.
Dude, you look tired. Are you tired? You falling asleep? You
Me?
look like you're falling
He's
asleep.
old.
Jim, do they
He's
not
coming
let
off
you talk?
vacation week.
Do they not let you talk at the golf course? Because you like
No.
kind of
Not at all.
you're like, oh man, let me talk.
I know.
I'm gonna let you host one of these ones where Rubio's not here. I'm gonna let you host, and I'm gonna just sit back and I'm gonna just.
I love it.
Anyway, all right, we're gonna wrap up this. We're gonna wrap up this show with who do I look? Who? Everybody's gonna go around. Who's your doppelganger? Who do people think you look like? Since Jim threw the cat out of the bag, so to say. If anybody's
Where's the cat, Alan?
and here you go, Nanamona. This is the one that's going to be make you laugh. Okay, so long story short, I am often mistaken for Jason Acuna. Who is Jason Acuna? He is Wee Man from the Jackass movie series. I am 90% of the time I am mistaken for somebody. I'm mistaken for him. It happened just 2 days ago when I was in Ocean City, Maryland, walking on the boardwalk. Gentleman comes up to me and says, "Hey, are you guys from the Jackass movies?" And I said, I smile at him. I'm always
Say yes.
I said no, and I'm like, I said no, but I can be a jackass. And we laughed and we chatted, and he's like, "No, I'm not, but I get it often," and so on. So if you follow me on Facebook, I actually posted something on Facebook and Instagram saying, "Do we really look alike? I don't see it." And I
He's
want to
cuter.
well, you know what?
He got a couple of them. You got a couple.
Yeah.
Of them.
Well, you know what's funny?
Yeah.
Most of the people said, "Oh, you're better looking," and I appreciate that, but I was really trying to get, do we look alike? And well, I'm not going to go. There's a road I can.
You don't
go
look
down.
anything like him. You don't look anything like him.
But you know, I guess it's it's the stock. It's because he's a skater dude. I'm a skater dude too. Skate
Radical.
anyway. Anyway, okay, all
You
right.
got- you
What
got
was
bands
so,
on.
so we man,
Uh.
and I'm telling you, and as I stated in my post, it's happened with other friends around me, and actually, hell, I was with Alan and I were seeing Brad Williams downtown not too about a year ago, and a couple people at the show thought I was Brad Williams' buddy that he talks about in his show, and I was like, no,
Now,
that's
mind you, I used Ed for the best parking spot
yeah,
and for us to get up close to the stage.
yeah. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
Front row. Front
no,
row.
hold on.
Fred.
We did.
Yeah,
I
we
bet.
did. No, we did. We were right. We were right on the. Yeah, and yeah.
You
Brad and I
should
had
throw him up on your shoulders after that. Block
One
them
may
in.
enter,
Yeah.
two,
Yeah.
two enter, one may go.
Oh my God.
So okay, so that's enough about me. So we all think at one point in time somebody says you look like this person or that person. Who wants to go first? Alan, Alan, who's your doppelganger?
Back in the 90s, someone thought I looked like John Goodman from the Roseanne Barr show.
Wow.
I don't.
Wow.
I have no idea why, but I would never have thought that.
You're not even. No, not even.
You lost a lot of weight.
Over the last 10 years, I've lost. Yeah, but he's small now.
Oh, he's skinny now. Yeah.
Right. But you said back in the 90s.
Yes, I'm an old guy.
Yeah. All right, Alex. Who looks like you?
Who'd you ask? Oh, Alex.
Alex,
Okay, well, I don't really think of anybody who is look-alike. I know somebody who is sound-alike, which is Gru from Despicable Me.
Yeah. All right, and we'll give that. And you know what? And that's a Rubioism too.
Luckily, I still have some hair left, unlike him. Okay, but you know,
Yes. That is awesome.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that is great. That is great.
I thought Rubio's nickname. I thought in the beginning,
Hold on.
the first show I was
Hold on.
on.
You gotta stop.
Oh, the plane!
No, that's
The
it.
plane!
Now, for all our sub-30s that are
Oh, my
watching,
God.
that Fancy Island was Tattoo and Mr. Rourke. The plane.
That's
the
hilarious.
plane.
The plane. So basically, being a little person, you look like every other little person. That's what.
Why is it, Jim? Why is that? Why is that, Jim?
People are stupid.
Okay, Mr.
no,
Wizard.
I was going to ask our friend Jimmy Owens commented on it, and
I know.
And I was going to make a comment about, I guess we all just look alike.
How about somebody commented you should have kicked him in the nuts and said
that was Frank Simone. That was in the shins. That was Frank Simone. Frank said you should have kicked him in the shins and gone on. It's like, no, he was being nice about it. He actually apologized. I was like, dude, no, it's fine.
Oh my God.
You should have just gave him an autograph.
Yeah.
No, I can't. People say that. I did actually have one time I was traveling for work, and had a person come up to me and would not take the fact that I said no, I'm not. Yes, you are. Please take a photo.
Oh, they were insisting. Oh my God.
And I said I took a photo, and I said I'm going to show this to my son, and I said, okay, you do that. And I thought to myself, your son's going to laugh at you, but hey, that's you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good way to get a couple drinks. Talk about.
No, I
Come on, Alan. You don't teach your students that. Let's go.
Hey, I'm an honest.
All right, Jim, all right. The nature boy. You don't look like you don't look like
my turn.
You don't look like Ric Flair. However,
no. I forgot. I got to add something to. I got to go back to Guy and the tones because I forgot to add. I
got you, man. I got you.
I asked all our community about meditation. I don't know if you remember, Ed, but I was asking about meditation.
Yes,
People were giving different ideas, and I've been playing. I've been playing like Tibetan sounds and different Tibetan tones and Tibetan healing music, and that has helped me big time.
So the thing with that, like those bell chimes, those are frequencies. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, right?
That's what made me think of it. I can't believe I forgot to say that. But as far as doppelganger, which yes, and I know what a doppelganger is, although you think all teachers are dumb, just most of them, not all of them. Alan and I are actually pretty smart. I got
didn't
nobody.
say anything.
I got nobody. No, I don't look like anybody. One time in the 90s, I think someone said Bruce Willis, and I'm like, nah, I don't look anything like Bruce Willis. I think it was just the hairline.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Yes, Josh.
Or lack of a
Workman
hairline.
Here's my Josh Workman was with me one time when it happened. We were in Vegas for an Epicor conference, and he was there, and he was like, "What the hell was that?"
And which one were you mistaken for? Which little person was it that time? The same
one.
The same one.
Oh, no, actually, that time it was Grumpy, not Sneezy.
See?
Grumpy.
You're not grumpy.
Hopefully Jen's not. Hopefully my wife's not watching. She's gonna be like,
Sleepy.
sleepy, yeah, dopey. All right, Steve, what do you get to say, man?
I wish I could say Jason Momoa or something like that, but
Your hair's too short.
the one I get,
You kind of look like the dude in your
One of the
poster.
Beatles.
One of the Beatles, or Jesus, the dude from
Jesus. I
Elon
look like
Musk.
Jesus.
No, Elon Musk. You look like no.
Your hair's
Elon
a little
Musk.
shorter.
Look at
This guy?
Elon Musk. Elon Musk in your poster.
This guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
Elon Musk. Yeah.
Elon Musk.
The one I would get in the 2000 was actually Elijah Wood, like Frodo from The Hobbit.
Oh yes. Okay, I can
Alright.
see that.
I can see that.
Yeah, I would get that. Plus, I used to have a gap between my teeth and longer, curlier hair. So yeah,
Have big ears too.
I don't know. Do I have big ears?
No, I'm asking.
Back then you had big ears, but now you don't. Yeah.
How about did you have the big? Did you wear like big feet too? You know how they have the bigger
No,
feet.
I'm not into that, man.
He's not a Comic-Con guy.
No, I would be. I just don't have the time for that, man.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
gotta
expensive too.
Yeah.
You could be a furry.
That's a
here
whole
you
other thing. That's a whole
go.
other thing.
Here you go.
Don't even go there. I mean, if kids, I'm sorry.
Here you go.
Want kids to be
Sorry,
furries,
Al.
they better come in with dog tags and rabies shots and neutered or whatever.
Here you go, Key. You're Ringo now.
Ringo.
George is my guy, so I'm a big George fan.
I thought you were Lennon, all about Lennon.
No, I'm all about George Harrison, man.
George is your favorite.
Lennon, there.
Okay.
My daughter drew that for me. So, but George is my guy.
Which one? Hold on.
She
was
drew that? Zoom in on that again. Holy cow.
This one right here.
That's
What?
nice.
Wow.
She knitted this too. So yeah,
Holy
That looks like a photograph.
Wow.
yeah. No, my daughter
Holy cow.
painted or drew that. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Wow, that is awesome. She's a talented artist.
very talented.
All right, guys.
All right.
You
I
know
don't
what?
have anything left.
Well, Jim, you're gonna take us. You're gonna like close out the show for me, and you're gonna do all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm
or
gonna start
should I wrap
practicing.
this up?
I'll start practicing my hosting.
Well, you know what, guys, you did a great job tonight. Thank you to Nanamona for commenting. Thank you for everybody who was watching on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and all that. Josh, also appreciate you, buddy, for chiming in. And you know what? Who am I going to give it to? I'm going to give it to all of us.
Yeah.
We all get it because it was a good conversation, and you guys really did a good job. So remember, everybody, have the conversations that are hard to have, and and keep having them, because when it comes right down to it, communication is the key to all of this. Once we stop communicating, the progress stops moving forward. With that, everybody, remember, like, subscribe. Join us next week on Tuesday. We'll be back on a regular time. Sub 60 Ed out for Rubio and the rest of the crew. We'll talk
Peace
to you
out.
later.
Peace out.